talking to the NT wives out there married to an autistic husband who may be experiencing some Cassandra syndrome, and as a result, also experiencing some chronic pain. So if you're a neurotypical wife living with chronic illness or chronic pain, and you feel like your body is kind of getting worse the longer your marriage feels stressful, then this little live video here is going to be for you. I want to say something gently but clearly. Your pain is real, okay? And stress absolutely affects the body. Not in a, it's all in your head kind of a way, but it's kind of a nervous system inflammatory physiological way. So in this short video, we're going to talk about how chronic relationship stress amplifies physical pain, why your body may be holding more than just illness, and what you can start doing to reduce the stress pain cycle. So let's talk about how the body keeps a score in the marriage. You know, when you live in ongoing relational tension, you know, walking on eggshells, feeling emotionally unseen, overfunctioning, managing logistics, suppressing your feelings and so on, and also having a lot of resentment, which is understandable, your nervous system never gets an opportunity to relax. It stays active all the time. So if you look calm on the outside, here's what's happening physiologically. When your brain perceives ongoing stress, cortisol stays elevated, muscles stay subtly braced, inflammatory markers can increase, sleep quality decreases, pain sensitivity increases. So now you add chronic illness, for example, like autoimmune conditions, fibromyalgia, migraines, GI disorders, back pain, and so on. And now you really have a system already sensitized. So stress doesn't cause your illness, but it absolutely amplifies the systems. So and by the way, your body is not betraying you. It's just responding to the load, the emotional load. And many neurotypical wives and neurodiverse marriages carry enormous invisible load. So let's talk about that invisible load right now. Here's a pattern I see often. You, as the NT wife, manage the emotional temperature of the house. You know, you anticipate misunderstandings, you translate social nuance. What else do you do? Absorb tone misfires, carry relational initiation, push through exhaustion to keep the peace, and God only knows what else. Meanwhile, your body is whispering, I'm tired, I'm slowly getting sick. But because you are the competent, responsible, strong, more emotionally mature one, you kind of override that whisper. But at some point, the whisper becomes a migraine, a joint flare-up, a pain spike, a fatigue crash. So chronic relational stress creates what we call, let's just call it an emotional load, where the wear and tear on the body from prolonged stress exposure creates a situation where your immune system is always weakened, and all kinds of stuff can take over. Colds, flu, cancer, autoimmune disease. It just gets brutal in too many cases, especially if this has been going on for 20, 30, 40 years. So if you're consistently bracing for the next misunderstanding, you know, if you never fully get emotionally settled, and if repair feels, I'm talking about relationship repair now, feels totally inconsistent, your body's always on guard. And guarded bodies hurt your joints, your intestines, and so on. So let's talk about emotional suppression and pain. There's also something deeper here. Many NT wives suppress anger, loneliness, grief, sexual rejection, emotional deprivation, because expressing it either escalates conflict with your ASD spouse or goes nowhere. So instead, you internalize it, and why wouldn't you? So when emotions don't get processed relationally, they often get processed physiologically. And that doesn't mean pain, that doesn't necessarily mean psychological pain per se, but it means these wounds are integrated into your nervous system at a very deep level and sometimes unconscious level. So unexpressed stress, equals muscle tension. Chronic hypervigilance equals nervous system sensitization. Emotional isolation equals increased pain perception. Your body and your marriage are not separate systems, and I know that sounds weird to hear. Let's talk about the stress-pain feedback loop. Here's the loop. Marriage stress increases nervous system activation. Let me repeat that. Marriage stress increases nervous system activation. And activation increases pain and fatigue. And increased pain reduces resilience. And reduced resilience increases relational sensitivity. More stress follows. And round it goes. You've been living it. That's not weakness, it's just biology. So the goal here for you ladies is not to try harder. The goal is to interrupt that loop. So let's talk about practical interruptions now. Let me give you some concrete starting points. First of all, try to reduce emotional overfunctioning. You can ask yourself, what am I carrying that is really not mine? Where are you managing his emotions? Where are you pre-absorbing discomfort? Where are you translating unnecessarily? In other words, trying to figure out, what he's thinking, what he's feeling, how he's behaving, the motivation behind his behavior, what he's going to do next. Every ounce of overfunctioning costs your body. The next thing, let's talk about scheduled nervous system recovery. You've heard me talk about this in other videos. Not productivity, not fixing the marriage, not researching solutions, actual recovery. That could include, 20 minutes lying down with no input, gentle stretching without multitasking. How about some quiet breathing, or maybe some warm showers without phone scrolling? So you're not lazy here, you're trying to regulate inflammation. And that's the big deal here in this video. We're talking about how the emotional disconnection in your neurodiverse marriage is causing physical health problems. Let's talk about how to increase direct, contained communication. So instead of suppressing, when this happens, my body flares up, so I need us to problem solve this. No. Notice no attacking, no blaming. Here it is again. Instead of suppressing, say to your ASD spouse, when this happens, my body flares. I need us to problem solve this. There's no attack there. There's no blaming. You're just connecting stress to physiology. And you're allowed to advocate from a health perspective, okay? Now let's talk about how to build a micro-safety ritual. If full emotional connection feels inconsistent, try to create predictability. For example, a 10-minute nightly check-in, maybe a weekly logistics meeting, or a clear conflict protocol. Predictability reduces nervous system vigilance for you, and reduced vigilance lowers your pain sensitivity. Now, if you're living in chronic illness and chronic relational stress, please hear this. You're not being melodramatic or overly emotional. You're not being fragile. Your pain is not imagined. It's not something that's just all in your head. Your nervous system may simply be overworked, and it's costing you now, especially if you're late 50s, 60s, or 70s. You could handle that stress when you were in your 20s, not now. We have to change that. So I want you to start small. Reduce one stress input. Add one recovery ritual. Speak one truth calmly. Your body responds to safety, and safety helps with physical health problems and body pain. Even small increases in safety matter. So please rewatch this video. And if this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I read and respond to all comments. I'm specifically interested in what does your body do when stress rises, okay? Last thing I want to say is you're not alone in this. I'm going to keep putting out videos every day. I want to continue to offer you strategies to deal with this neurodiverse marriage, and I want to offer you hope. And the last thing I have to say is your body deserves as much care as your marriage, so please pay attention to that. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.